All right, folks, in this video, I'm going to explain how to set your default settings for the platform so that when you bring up a level 2, when you execute an order to cover a position, it will automatically go ahead and populate the way that you want. So firstly, you got to go down to your main window, which is where you see TrueEdge. That's the main window. So I'm going to go here, view, settings, and now I have this menu here. Notice it has a set of subcategories that I can set. Now each of these is allowing me to set defaults. For example, profit and loss, I have defaulted to bid ask price as an example. So that way when I see my P&L, it's going to show me based upon the bid ask, not the last traded price. Or I have this selected to my default layout so that every time I open the platform, it's showing me my default layout. Okay, so these are a variety of different settings you can choose. Over here, quotes, notifications. For example, if I don't want to see a notification every time I do a trade, then I don't have to. It's up to me. But here I have notifications for account status changes, things like that. Also messages, I should jump to this really quick. If you don't want to see the confirmation when you send an order, uncheck these boxes. As long as these are unchecked, you will not see any confirmation message when you're placing an order. So that way it'll be faster. All right, next up for equities. All right, this is where I set my default to tell me what type of order type I want to be the default. So for price, I have, if I'm buying, I have market as my default. In selling, I also have market as my default. And why is that important? MKT market is important because I want my level 2 order window to always show me a default at market because I want to be able to act quickly if I need to. If I don't need to act quickly, I can enter manually a limit order just by typing it into the level 2 window, right? So I could always enter a limit order price if I want, or I can do a shortcut to bid or ask or something like that. But if I want to get in quickly or get out quickly, I need to use a market order. For the pre-market, you want to leave it set to ask if you're buying, bid if you're selling. All right. Now, for trailing stops, I have it set to 1. So that means that when we get into a trade, it's going to drop a trailing stop automatically right down here, attach auto. Now, if I didn't have this box selected, the trailing stop increments would be preset, but I would have to choose to use a trailing stop when I use the features up here. So if you always want to have a trailing stop dropped in, choose the trailing amount, $1 in this case, choose the increment, which is how far the market is going to have to, or how far the stop loss moves once the trailing amount is hit, right? Now, as it stands right now, this is not the way it should be set up. It should be set up like this, okay? 5 and 1, meaning that the trailing amount is going to be $5 behind and the increment is going to be $1. So basically all it's saying is every time the market moves $5, the trailing stop is going to move by 1. If I want the trailing stop to be moved by $5, then I change it to 5. So in other words, every time when the trailing stop is entered, it's going to be $5 below where I got in if I'm buying, or $5 above if I'm selling. And then the increment is going to be how much is going to change each time this amount is moved. So in other words, every time we move $5, the trailing stop is going to move by $5. So at first it's going to be $5 below the market. Then once the market moves up $5, the trailing stop is going to move to basically break even where I started. And once the market moves another $5, I'll lock in $5. As long as I have auto selected, then it's going to automatically add a trailing stop every time. It's automatically going to trail my price. Hotkeys, I'm not going to get into that, but these are keys you can set if you want to quickly make trades and change positions. Listing exchanges, this is just showing that we want the default to be the NASDAQ, so you have to actually set it. It's the only option you've got, so make sure you set it. Equities to NASDAQ. Next up is destinations. This is very important. You also want to set this to destination NASDAQ. You choose the default account, right, which I have right there, and then the rest you leave alone, okay? Peg type I put as market. Don't worry about what that necessarily means, but I just put it at market, okay? So these are the settings you want. Time in force is day. Trading account is chosen for equities, and then you have the NASDAQ, and make sure you select that. Okay? Next up, there are some other settings over there, but don't worry about that, okay? Price types, I just chose the order types that I want. I'm not going to get into the details of this, but these are the settings I use. If you duplicate these settings, you'll be fine. Okay, level 1, don't worry about that. Level 2, these are the settings that I'm using. I chose to display the change as a percent, since that's more familiar to me. Don't worry about basket. Quick order entry, these are just listings of buttons you can press to quickly make changes. Keyboard just shows me what the settings are right now to change quantity, increments, things like that. We have messages, of course. And then we have miscellaneous, as you can see right here. Okay? So as long as your settings are set the way mine are, everything will be fine. You'll have the orders coming in as they're supposed to on the platform. Okay? So I'm going to hit OK to save what I did. Then I'm also going to save my layout, get my confirmation message, and now I'm good to go. Thanks, folks.